Oh, hi there. Hope you're well. You know, a while back I heard that HBO was working on a new prequel series set in the world of Game of Thrones. No, not that one. There you go. I was pretty intrigued, but after the first trailer dropped, I began to hear some worrying words. This story is a lot more light-hearted. There's nothing wrong with that, but all I could think about was the light-hearted humor equal to the Marvel style we've been seeing time and time again recently.
Pizza Papa always gets paid.
All right, Pizza Papa, relax. She's just a kid.
Relax
She's
yourself
hungry.
there, Dr. Strange.
On top of that, it would be a buddy road trip series. Yippee. Regardless, I wanted to watch it, and well... After the last two HBO epics sort of lost the plot, expectations weren't really high for me. Now, listen, I have a confession to make. I haven't read any of the books. To be honest, it's been a while since I've read anything. However, when I say that episode 5 made me want to read the books, I mean it. I mean, I'm not going to, but you get the point. I feel like in order to ramble about this episode titled In the Name of the Mother, I need to give a bit of context leading up to it. Oh yeah, and spoilers obviously, so go watch it, then come back. Please. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is set a century before the events of Game of Thrones.
4 pages for Sir Duncan. He must have been quite a man.
So they say.
It's about a self-appointed knight who wishes to participate in a grand tourney and ultimately make a name for himself, but he eventually realizes that the real tourney was the friends he made along the way. We are introduced to Dunk, a towering but unrefined hedge knight, burying his mentor, Sir Arlen of Pennytree. This opening sets the tone for Dunk's journey, highlighting his isolation and sense of honor in a land dominated by noble bloodlines. Soon after, he encounters a bald-headed boy named Egg, who insists on becoming his squire. Their relationship evolves from a reluctant partnership into a profound bond of loyalty and mentorship.
Sir? Is it odd that I have black hair growing out of my stones?
It's odd that you're telling me.
It's honestly a refreshing take on the old lone wolf and cub dynamic we've seen a lot more recently. Upon arriving to Ashford Meadow, the exciting yet cutthroat world of noble competitions unfolds. The tourney is a spectacle of puppet shows, games, drinking, and dancing as the crowd cheers for their favourite houses. Despite some minor conflicts, and Dunk, now Sir Duncan the Tall, struggling to get enlisted for the most part, everything is fine until Dunk witnesses Prince Aerion Targaryen's assault on the common folk. This prompts Dunk to intervene in defense of the innocent. True to his vows, Dunk strikes the prince, which, yeah, obviously is a no-go that could mean death. Now, Dunk has to put together a team for a trial of 7 knights, just so he can have a chance to fight for his innocence. At this point, Sir Duncan's ideal version of what a knight is and represents has constantly been met with laughter, disregard, and honestly just embarrassment for the guy. I mean, you really feel it when his plea for a 7th knight goes unheard.
Has courage deserted the noble houses of Westeros? And there no true knight among you!
But by the grace of arguably one of the few good Targaryens left, Baelor Targaryen steps in. This build-up sets the stage for the climactic fight, where the Trial of 7 erupts in a storm of violence. Tension is at an all-time high, and the fog-shrouded field looms like a graveyard, its misty veil adding an element of suspense. From the get-go, we are immersed in Dunk's perspective, his wide eyes peering through his helmet slit, amplifying the personal stakes. What follows is not just a fight, but a visceral reminder of what happens to people in this world who are led by only their honor, blending heart-pounding action with profound emotional depth. The pre-battle scenes linger on the small details, building an atmosphere of palpable foreboding that primes the audience for the chaos to come. As the Trial of 7 commences, the unrelenting action and unflinching violence stands out from the genre's more glamorous battles. The anxiety is palpable. Dunk, a novice among legends, minus the newly knighted squire, hesitates as the horn blares, urging him to charge forward into the unknown. unknown. This isn't a heroic charge. It's a chaotic, disorientating frenzy where the mist obscures foes, and every clash feels like a brush with death. The violence is brutal and ugly. Lances splinter, maces crush helmets, and knights fall from their horses, their armored bodies thudding heavily against the mud. Dunk immediately starts off strong by taking a lance into the stomach, the impact jarring his entire frame, followed by Arian's Morning Star. The action doesn't let up, as the initial charge devolves into dismounted skirmishes that the episode draws out to exhaustion. This prolonged battle heightens the stakes, making each blow feel like it could be the last, and underscoring how the trial is as much of a test of endurance as it is skill. The stress builds through subtle cues that echo the knight's inner turmoil, creating a psychological battlefield where paranoia amplifies the physical pain. The action sequences are amazing, with gritty duels akin to Ridley Scott's The Last Duel. Horses thunder through the fog with pounding hooves that shake the screen. Knights dismount into hand-to-hand brawls amid the chaos, and the camera captures the savagery up close and personal. Arian pummels Dunk relentlessly with a flurry of blows that test Dunk's resolve. But Dunk's comeback? Rising from the mud, battering Arian with fists and shield in a raw display of power, feels like a triumph of an underdog fueled by raw fury that resonates with the viewers. The fog serves as both ally and enemy, concealing movements and amplifying surprises that keep the audience on edge. Visually, the episode elevates this carnage by using techniques to immerse and unsettle. It employs a claustrophobic point of view style, locking the camera inside Dunk's helmet to convey a disorientation. The audio muffles into distant ringing, visions narrow, making the viewers feel the weight of the armor. The fight choreography chooses more grounded realism over spectacle, where knights wrestle like animals, desperate stabs, and the clanging of steel on armor that reverberates through the arena. Wide shots reveal the field's chaos, the knights blurring in the fog while close-ups highlight the toll it takes, with Dunk becoming more contorted and bloody as the fight goes on. The color palette has desaturated greys and browns, evoking a foggy dawn that mirrors the moral ambiguity of the conflict, with occasional flashes of red that provide stark contrast. The shots combine Steadicam for immersion in the thick of the action and quick cuts for the frenzy of combat, making the violence feel more intimate and immediate, forcing viewers to confront its ugliness and the physicality of medieval warfare. The sound design amplifies the immersion. Wet thuds and blows landing on metal and flesh, the distant roars of the crowd swelling and fading, creating a sensory overload that draws viewers deeper into the fray. Amid this turmoil, a pivotal section explores Sir Duncan's internal struggle, where his rage surges and boils up, and his commitment to knighthood wavers under the relentless assault. As the fight continues, Dunk's ideals begin to crack, like the armor protecting him. Initially, he fights with the honor he's aspired to, adhering to the codes of fair combat instilled by Sir Arlen, but his breaths become ragged and gasps. His vision blurs with blood, sweat, and tears of frustration, and a primal rage from his flea-bottom days finally erupt. This is no longer a knightly duel, it's a street brawl, where survival is the only thing that matters, and rules are discarded for instinct. Actor Peter Claffey's performance captures the erosion masterfully. His rage isn't heroic, it's ugly and raw, born of desperation and an accumulation of being pushed down. The episode shows how the beating erodes his vows. Each strike chips away at the true knight he strives to be, tempting him to abandon honor for vengeance, questioning his oaths that he swore to. Yet, this rage saves him, highlighting the irony, his lowborn instincts honed in the alleys of poverty, turning the tide, allowing him to overpower the prince in a frenzy that borders on barbarianism and leaves him panting in exhaustion. This deepens the exploration of identity, questioning whether true knighthood lies in rigid codes or adaptable resilience, all while prolonging the fight's emotional and physical brutality and showcasing Dunk's isolation. It illustrates how violence can corrupt even the purest intentions, turning protectors into animals in the heat of battle. But the boldest choice by far is intercutting this climactic fight with a flashback to Dunk's youth in Flea Bottom. Now, this does work in humanizing Dunk just beyond a friendly giant, not as a polished knight trained in castles, but as a survivor whose rage is forged in hardship and loss. It parallels the present violence, highlighting the cycle of brutality. Just as wars claim nobles in grand trials with crowds watching, they devastate the small folk in forgotten skirmishes. Visually, the grimy rat-infested alleys contrast the tourney's pageantry, using warm, flickering torchlight to evoke vulnerability amid darkness. It adds layers to Dunk's arc, explaining his stubborn honor as a response to childhood trauma, and ties directly into his rage-fueled resurgence, making this trial feel like an accumulation of a lifetime's worth of struggle rather than a momentary triumph.
Get up!
Egg's screams for Dunk to get back up blend desperation and loyalty, underscoring the bond and adding a mixture of youthful innocence to the tragedy, that both boys are just scared of being alone. But as Sir Duncan the Tall rises again, the crowd's chants begin to rise, symbolizing communal justice and a voice for the small folk.
Silence! Silence! I withdraw my accusation.
However, the downsides of the flashback, particularly its timing and length, feel a bit indulgent in an already packed episode and disrupts the flow a little bit. Halting the trial of 7 at its peak moment kills the momentum. It's a little frustrating. Look, I get that it's necessary and it does make the win feel more impactful overall, but like, damn dude, we only have 30 minutes. We miss details of the other fights, which could have emphasized the trial's indiscriminate toll on the participants. You could argue this choice amplifies the episode's emotional impact, but ultimately Dunk's victory rings hollow amid the carnage. The final reveal of Baelor's crushed skull delivers a visceral gut punch, adding to the tragedy in a moment that's both sad and shocking. Baelor's death, cradled in Dunk's arms as he apologizes with his last words of the realm's future,
I need good men, Sir Duncan.
evokes profound grief that lingers long after the episode ends. Baelor, the rare true knight embodying wisdom, fairness, and leadership, perishes for doing right, his loss altering Westeros' future, mirroring Dunk's past, helpless as he holds the body of someone who was in his corner, forging an emotional through line of loss that connects past and present, emphasizing how personal tragedies fuel larger conflicts. Overall, the episode is a mix of exhilaration from the action's highs and sorrow from its lows, reminding us that in Westeros, honor often demands sacrifice, both physical and emotional. The focus on Dunk's internal battle makes his survival feel like a sacrificial win over his own ideals, where the rage that saves him also scars his soul, questioning the worth of knighthood in a land where honor often leads to one's downfall. In the Name of the Mother exposes the cost of staying true to your morals, so that when there are soft and tender moments, they hit that much harder. The Trial of 7, with its innovative visual language and gritty choreography, redefines the combat as a muddy, merciless ordeal rather than the romantic legend perpetuated in songs and stories, showing the human price over the heroic myth, how past traumas fuel present valor and anger, providing a deeper understanding of Dunk's journey from slum survivor to aspiring knight. The emotional aftermath, Dunk's victory amid Baelor's senseless death, robs the realm of a wise leader with lingering echoes of childhood loss. affirming the series' strength in blending high-stakes drama with human vulnerability, and challenges viewers to reflect on their own notions of justice and morality. This installment not only advances the plot, but elevates the series, proving that even in a universe of dragons and thrones, the most compelling stories are those of ordinary people. Just don't get too crazy after adapting the books. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. Hope you enjoyed my rambling for a bit. You can like and subscribe if you want, so I can make more videos like this one. And I'll see you later.